And we are back, and we are ready. And I am Aaron Clements.
I thought I was Aaron Clements.
You got it mixed up.
And I'm John Ryan.
And we are with you on the CC Auto Show, and we are ready to go. We want to say thank you to our show producers, and that would be Travis Faust and Chris Thomas of Layer TI. They are both here working the boards and making everything happen for us. And we also, very shortly, we'll have Rick Stanley with us here, ready to answer some questions, and we'll be talking a little bit. I want to mention in the beginning that also you can go to ccautoshow.com. And I did want to mention that the theme of the show today is Elvis Presley and cars, because Elvis did love cars, and Rick will be able to share some of those stories with us as we go forward also. Now, I mentioned that I'd tell you about one of the most famous cars in the world. In early 1955, Elvis bought his first Cadillac. It was a 1954 Fleetwood Series 60, which was the color pink. The car provided transportation for Elvis and the Blue Moon Boys, but after the failure of a brake lining, it was destroyed in a roadside fire between Hope and Texarkana, Arkansas. And on June 5th, 1955, Elvis purchased a new Cadillac Fleetwood. And the new Cadillac Fleetwood was a Series 60 in blue with a black roof. Elvis had the car repainted by Art, a neighbor on Lamar Street. Art designed a customized pink color for Elvis, which he named Elvis Rose, but the car kept its black roof. Once the car was finished, Elvis gave it to his mother, Gladys, as a gift. Miss Gladys Presley never had a driver's license, and Elvis drove the car with the members of his band for most of 55 and 56. He later had the top repainted white, and the Cadillac is still on display at Graceland, but also at the picture here on
That's
CC
what I was
Auto
going
Show.
to say. That was the description of this vehicle, that this was his mother's car. So
yeah, exactly. That
was
was the one that was given, and they did ride around in that. And I think you may very well hear some more stories concerning the pink Cadillac as we talk to Rick a little bit later. Now, before we move forward, I'll mention that something timeless. One example is this, is that on January 8, 1935, Elvis Aaron Presley was born. His music is still with us today. Presley is one of the most celebrated musicians of the 20th century, commercially successful in many genres, including pop, blues, and gospel. He's the best-selling solo artist in history of recorded music, with estimated album sales of around 600 million units worldwide. For 14 Grammys, won 3, receiving the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award at age 36, and has been inducted to multiple music halls of fame. Another example is that in 1925, the National Automotive Parts Association, or NAPA, was founded to meet the United States growing need for an auto parts distribution system. NAPA's parent company, Genuine Parts Company, which operates NAPA's 62 distribution centers, 6,000 stores, 14,000 affiliated Napa Auto Care repair facilities, and has over 400,000 parts in inventory every day. It's true, some things are just timeless. To find the Napa store or Auto Care Center near you, go to NapaAutoParts.com. Okay, and we'll be looking for your phone calls. Give us a call, 706-863-5800. We did not get an answer to our Tech Tip quiz during the last hour.
That's right.
And
might go ahead and read it when you get a
well,
chance.
I'll go ahead and just read the question part, because most people know a lot of the prizes.
Yeah.
I'll mention the main prize of the whole deal is the G&K uniform. I answered the Tech Tip quiz shirt.
Right.
Of course, the coffee mug, the car wash stuff, and all the other things are there to go along with it. But here is the question. Elvis Presley and Rick Stanley's father, Vernon Presley, owned a business that had to do with cars. What type business was it, and what was the name of the business? And if you can tell me the name of the street that the business was on, you'll receive a special gift from Napa. So be ready to call in and answer that. And if we don't get an answer to it a little later in the show, we might just let Rick answer that for us.
There you go.
And I guess that would put Rick eligible for to win the Tech Tip quiz shirt then.
That's right.
And because we don't give away honorary Tech Tip quiz shirts, they don't go. No one. I don't even get to wear one.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to go to the callers?
Yeah. Let's go over to John in Augusta.
Great idea. Good morning, John, and welcome to the CC Auto Show.
Hey, fellas. Do you remember Larry John Wilson?
I do not remember Larry John Wilson.
Well, he was here locally, and he played in the 12 bands for Christmas. He played a lot over in Europe and all that. He was good friends with Elvis.
Uh-huh.
And he had this Cadillac limousine that had front and rear facing back seats. You know, they faced each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And he would bring it by and let me drive it around once in a while. And he said it was given to him by Elvis.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we may hear some other stories concerning that as we go on, because from what I understand, they are not able to put together any type of count, any accurate count of how many cars Elvis actually gave away.
Wow.
And hopefully Rick could touch on that a little bit too, some stories of things that he may have seen when they were given away. I tell you what, give me a call at the shop on Monday, and we will do the research and find out what happened to that Cadillac.
All right.
That would be a very good question that we will try to find out.
Yep.
We'll put it in front of our panel of judges,
Me and you.
Somebody will.
which includes the two of us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. Okay, now we will do our song trivia quiz real quick, and then we will be going to our break. All right, now, if you're the first to call in and give the answers to our song trivia quiz, you'll win a CC Auto Show movie basket, and it's everything that you need for a good movie at home. It has candy bars, popcorn, and other treats along with the movie, and here's what we are looking for. What is the name of the song, who sings the song, and what type vehicles mentioned in the song? And here we go. Here it is.
There's a long line of mornings driving down our little street. Their fancy cars are such a sight to see.
Okay, so if you know the name of the song, who sings the song, and what type vehicles mentioned in the song, give us a call. And it is time for us to take a real quick break. When we return, we'll be ready to answer your automotive questions, and we still have a travel tip coming up. And I'll tell you about a special feature that the 59 Corvette Stingray Racer used in the movie Clam Bake, what it had.
Seven lonely days and a dozen times ago, I reached out one night and you were gone.
All right, folks, welcome back to the CNC Automotive Show. Ashley Brown, Aaron Clements, John Ryan Mooney bringing you today's program. Of course, they do the heavy lifting. It's 706-863-5800. That's the number you can call for free advice. And, of course, the guys are standing by live at the downtown location of CNC Automotive with more of today's show. Here's Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney.
And we are back, and we are ready. And the number 706-863-5800. We are ready for your questions and for your automotive questions, and also any questions that you may have for Rick Stanley. He'll be with us, and I'll be introducing Rick in just a second or two. I want to mention that before the break, I mentioned something about a car that was used in Clam Bake. The cherry red 59 Corvette Stingray Racer featured in Clam Bake. It's the musical by Elvis. Had an early model car phone in it. Now remember, that was 1959.
Wow.
A car phone. So I thought that was kind of neat. Okay, we do have a special guest with us, and that would be Rick Stanley. He's here with us. Rick is the stepbrother of a singer that was known as the king of rock and roll. That's Elvis Presley. And most anyone that has heard of Elvis knew that he had a great love for cars. And Rick had the opportunity to see that love firsthand. Rick lived at Graceland and traveled with Elvis for many years. And Rick, welcome to the CC Auto Show.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm learning so much about all these vehicles, and I'm amazed at how quick you guys can answer these questions when these people call in talking about something wrong with their vehicle. So I'm having a blast.
Well, cars are our thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we enjoy doing. And we enjoy doing this because we feel like it gives an opportunity to not only give people information about the cars, but also share some information with them, information that they might not have known otherwise, and also add some entertainment and some fun to it. And Rick, you come on the information side and the very interesting side, because I don't mind telling you, when we talked the other day, I want to say thank you for coming by the shop the other day, and we sit up there and we talked. We had the opportunity to talk for probably 30 or 40 minutes, which I enjoyed, because what was really so interesting to me is I could ask you a question or we could talk about something, and you would know all the little behind-the-scene details on it, which was really, really amazing. And from what I understand, you were part of Elvis's inner circle, and I guess they did call that the Memphis Mafia.
Oh yeah, we were called that. I think I was very privileged of the fact that he was more like a father to me, and he allowed me to be included in everything that took place. I was able to always be behind the scenes, and I was behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one that woke him up in the morning when we were touring and made sure his breakfast was prepared right, made sure the meals, made sure he had humidifier, all the stuff there when we were touring. And then back at home, it was my responsibility to, of course, I didn't make the breakfast, but I had breakfast with him quite a bit. And then with Lisa Marie's birth, we sat there and we'd bring her in and she'd have breakfast with us also. So, yeah. And then also having Vernon, my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very, very close to the press. They were family to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was wonderful. Well, I'm going to mention one or two real quick questions, and then we'll be going to Lewis, and he'll have a question that may be about a car, maybe for you. But then also we'll be going to Scott very shortly and talking to Scott about him answering the song trivia quiz. But I did want to go ahead and ask at least one or two real quick questions because I love hearing this information. How many cars do you think were at Graceland at any given time?
When I first got there, in 1960, I would say there were about 10. Mm-hmm. And then he had some special kind of race cars in a garage that I didn't really know what kind they were, but they were very nice looking. And then I've seen up to as many as 20 at a time, but then you go into the trucks that he had, and then you go into, he had an old black truck that we used to use to haul garbage to the garbage dump. And he got the biggest kick out of getting in that old truck, putting a baseball hat on, big jug of water, a couple of bananas, and I'd sit in the other seat, and we'd just ride around town and shake hands with the fans and have his picture made.
And that is one thing that I meant to ask you. What year did you arrive at Graceland?
1960. Before and a lot of people, Aaron, they wonder what's the relationship, because I've actually had people say, you look like Elvis, and I'd say, yeah, I wish I did. I'm his stepbrother. His mom died in 1958, Gladys Presley. My parents were divorced. Also in 59, I was in foster care. I came out on July 3rd of 1960. My mother had married Vernon, Elvis's dad. So that's when I moved in. That's the first time I met him. And first words he said to me was, I've always wanted little brothers, and now I have 3. So it was incredible being around him, and he was an incredible man.
Wow. But I wanted to mention a few things that I enjoyed talking to Rick about the other day, just a pink Cadillac. And I mentioned that from my understanding, the first one that was bought was a pink Cadillac, and it had a white top. And
like that one?
Yeah, that's the one that's on the screen at ccautoshow.com. And that particular one caught on fire, and then 3 months later, or a period of time later, they bought another one that was blue and painted pink. And later, and it had a black top, but later the top was painted white. Well, I mentioned that to Rick a little bit, and Rick told me a little bit of other things that I asked him, did he see the pink Cadillac?
Oh, I certainly did. I was taken to school every day in that. We had a real sweet housekeeper and cook, a black lady by the name of Alberta. And I would crawl in the back seat, and along with my other brothers, Billy and David, and be driven to school. And of course, it caused a lot of attention. And I'd walk in the class, and the kids would ask me, what's Elvis like? And the teacher would get mad. That disrupted class. I'd step out in the hall, and the teacher would come out and say, all right, what is Elvis like? But it was a huge car. And later on, my Aunt Delta and grandmother, my Aunt Nash, and several other family members lived there at Graceland. And because of the size of the trunk and all that, they started using it to go down to the Big Star, the grocery store, and load up with groceries. So, yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of that car.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely amazing. Okay, you ready for us to go to someone to answer our song trivia quiz?
Yes, sir.
Okay, John Ryan, where are we going?
All right, Aaron, let's go over to Scott Nick, and he may have the
Hey, John Ryan, do you think we should play a small portion of the song one more time?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
There's a love
Okay. And what we'll be looking for is what's the name of the song, who sings the song, what type of vehicle is mentioned in the song. And let's go over and talk to Scott and Aiken. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think I have the name to your trivia question.
Okay. Let's put him on stage. You think we should?
Call him in.
Hey, Blue.
All right.
Rick, we named Blue. Someone called one time and said you should name that person Blue, so it stuck. And
There
so
you go.
He's right here.
Yeah. Oh, I was trying to see him. Okay, Scott, we are ready, and all eyes are on you.
Yes, is it Long Black Limousine by Elvis Presley?
And you are right so far. And what type vehicle is mentioned in the song?
Limousine?
And what's the features of the limousine?
Long Black.
Exactly. All right, where's the crowd at? Okay, Scott, I'm going to get you to hold so that we can get your last name, but you are now a CC Auto Show Song Trivia Quiz winner, and you'll receive a CC Auto Show movie basket filled with everything that you need for a movie at home, and that includes the candy, the treats, the popcorn, and, of course, a great movie. Just stop by either location of CNC Automotive for your Song Trivia Quiz prizes, and we'll have it sitting there for you. Okay, well, and thank you very much, Scott. And hold on, and they'll get your information.
I got him on hold.
Okay, and he is on hold. Okay, we're going to mention just a couple of other things that we have coming up. And one of the vehicles that I hear a lot about was the gold Cadillac that had different items inside there, different accessories. Do you remember any details concerning the gold Cadillac?
Yes, I remember it, and it kind of backfired on him. He liked it, but then it's funny, he considered it gaudy after a while, and he gave it to somebody, and I think it's in Nashville now, and people can go and look at it, and but I don't know a whole lot about it. Just saw it a few times.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to ask you one other question that I hear on a regular basis is that Elvis had a big heart and would give vehicles and other things, of course, to other people. Did you ever see Elvis in the process of buying a car, or did he? And from what I understand, he would just go shopping and buy several different cars.
Yeah, I saw him do it all the time. He was always giving. It was difficult because I didn't get my first Cadillac till I was 13. So, but you can't drive around on the road, so I rode around at Graceland. I sure did, Aaron. I was privileged enough to go with him when he would go to the car dealerships there in Memphis. And at one time, he was there and he's buying cars for different people. There was a man that took care of all. At the Memphian Theater, we could go from midnight to 6 in the morning. Well, this man always took care of Elvis, and he bought him a car. And of course, the guy wasn't there. And Elvis said, drive it to his house, Ricky. And I said, well, what if he's not there? He said, just pull it up in the yard and leave it then. Mm-hmm. But one that really sticks out in my mind was he was buying cars for people and himself. And a lady was walking by, a real sweet little black lady, older lady. And when she got there, she stopped and saw Elvis. And I could see her mouthing, Mr. Elvis, and waving. Mm-hmm. And that's when Elvis said, go get her, bring her in. I said, yes, sir. And I went out and got her. I said, ma'am, Elvis wants to meet you. And she's going, oh, no, look at the way I'm dressed and all that. And I said, ma'am, he doesn't really care about that. He just wants to meet you. And I brought her in. He started talking with her, and she started talking about his gospel music, and he was very polite and thanked her and was saying, yes, ma'am, thank you. And he said, well, ma'am, I want you to pick out a car. And what I tell people, Aaron, is he recognized the look of longing in people's eyes. I mean, he grew up in abject poverty. Mm-hmm. He could recognize the look on somebody's face when they wanted something. And she said, no, Mr. Elvis. He said, no, ma'am, you either pick it out and pick it out, or I'm going to pick it out. And of course, she started crying and everything, and she hugged him, and he bought her the car, and I drove her to her house. Mm-hmm. So wow. I saw things like that constantly. And not only that, I mean, he would come down to the gate there at Graceland, and just sit around and talk to the fans and have his picture made with them. And he was very, very humble man. One time in Vegas, we were moving backstage, and the security guards would always make the cooks and housekeepers in this hallway stand against the wall. And then on this particular occasion, we were walking by, and this little Hispanic lady was there and asked for an autograph. And one of the guys said, we've got a show to do. And Elvis stopped and just looked at the person and said, I'm aware of that. So he goes over and gives us an autograph. And then another guy said, well, no, the show's in 5 minutes. And Elvis looked up and said, I'm the show. Mm-hmm. And so I saw that constantly. And he gave cars, he gave all kinds of homes to people all the time.
Yeah, from what I understand, if someone come in and said, I like that a lot, and they showed a lot of emotion over liking a particular item, a lot of times he would just give it to them.
Yes, and some people even took it upon themselves to say, you know, now when you meet him, don't start saying what you like or something like that. And word got back to him on that, and he didn't like it at all. He recognized that his gift of singing was from the Lord, and he was very, very thankful for the gift that he had. And he felt like that he needed to be a part of giving and doing things to help people.
That is beautiful. Elvis purchased a 1971 Pantera sports car in 1974 for $2,400 as a gift to his then girlfriend, Linda Thompson. When we return, Rick Stanley will tell you a story of what happened when it would not start. We'll tell you that and more as soon as we return.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited.
All right, folks, it is sort of Elvis Day here on the CNC Automotive Show. We welcome you back into the program. Of course, we broadcast live each and every Saturday here on WGAC. A Saturday tradition, the CNC Automotive Show. Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney are standing by in downtown Augusta with the rest of today's show. So without further ado, here they are, Aaron and JR with the CNC Automotive Show.
And we are standing by, and we are ready. If you have automotive questions or a question for Rick Stanley, just give us a call, 706-863-5800. And I'm going to jump right in here because I can tell it coming now. We're going to run out of time really quickly. I want to ask you real quick, Rick, what did Elvis do when the Pantera would not start?
Well, I have to say it was cold in defense of the automobile. So he went out. He said, Ricky, go start the car. I couldn't start the car. And I went and told him. So he came out and said, well, I'll start it. And, of course, he got in. And then he took his 9mm and shot the dashboard up. He killed the Pantera, which scared Daddy, Vernon Presley. And Daddy come running out of the house at Graceland and said, what's going on? What's going on? I said, Daddy, he just killed the Pantera. And then Daddy just smiled and walked back in the house.
So it didn't surprise him a bit then?
No, because all of us, you know, good or bad, you know, we carried guns. We did security for him, and he was just like a big kid. He was safe. He wouldn't harm anybody.
Yeah. Well, Rick, we're going to move into a side a little bit more serious now. We talked about the year that you went to Graceland and the things that you did at Graceland. We talked about some of the cars. How did you arrive here in Augusta?
Well, I've been in the ministry for 37 years now, and Eddie West, I'm a member over at Christ Baptist Church, and when I got up here, I was preaching for him a couple of months ago, and he said, you're to pray about coming up here. And I said, well, I like this town. I like small, little, pleasant southern towns, and long story short, he said, I'll make you staff evangelist if you come here. So I'm here with my 25. She lives with me, and I travel out of here. In a couple of weeks, I go over to Appling, Georgia, to preach over there, and I speak at a lot of different places around here. I really enjoy it. I've preached in the largest and smallest churches. I've been with Billy Graham and his crusades. And I just really love this area. The people are very, very kind, and it's a great sign when you wake up in the morning and you turn on the news. And all they really talk about is weather. There's no crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a wonderful thing to see. And, of course, Memphis has gotten pretty violent. So I'm here. I travel out of here now and speak in churches and high schools and penitentiaries, focusing on young people, helping them with some of the struggles I faced when I was very young.
Well, Rick, one of the things that you have, some of the things that you will be accomplishing and doing while you're here in Augusta, and or you stay, will this be your permanent home, hopefully?
Oh, yes, sir. Guys like yourself that are connected, I enjoy meeting y'all and want to get to know more people around here. I really enjoy it because it's the South, and I'm just an old Southern boy, was born in Huntsville, Alabama, and grew up in Memphis, and I like the people here. I enjoy networking. I attend a great church over at Christ Baptist and speaking at different churches around here. But it's not only that. I do a lot of school assemblies on drug and alcohol addiction, and I try to take the platform the Lord's given me. And, I love talking about my brother, but I also enjoy talking about how the Lord has worked in my life. I came to know the Lord 2 months after Elvis's death, October 16th of 1977 in Florida, and went to college and seminary. Now I'm at home. There's so many wonderful churches and great businesses. I mean, when I heard, I liked you when I met you, Aaron, but when you were a moment ago talking about helping that little kid with a bone marrow, that reminded me a lot of Elvis, and I'm that way. I care about people. I want to help in any way I possibly can. So, yeah, I have found a home and plan on staying here and never leaving again.
Well, I think you'll find there's a huge amount of people doing that love to help in things like that. As a matter of fact, one thing that not reminded me, because I really didn't know all the details and wasn't able to mention, was Jeff Annis of Advanced Services for Pest Controls had mentioned it on a show previous to this show, and I call him and get the details of that to make sure that we were. And I think that there's so many people in this area, just like Jeff, just like John Ryan, and our producers and all the other ones here that want to help a lot of other people. And I think you'll be a great addition to that and a great way to help so many other people. Now, I'm going to mention one other thing that we have here. We're going to, I'll tell you what, we're going to try to squeeze in a 1-minute call real quick. But on the screen behind us, we have at ccautoshow.com, we have a picture of Rick Stanley getting in the passenger side of the Stunts Black Hawk, and we also have Elvis getting in on the driver's side. So we have that picture, and we're going to try to. I want to mention one final thing that we have here. We're going to be closing very shortly, but there was one very special question that I wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to ask Rick, and this may be a little bit of a tougher question. Rick, if you was able to talk to Elvis one last time, what would you say?
Well, I would thank him for his unconditional love. He didn't know me as a little boy of the age of 6 years old. When I didn't think too many people, even my own parents, cared about me, he took me into his family. First words he said was, I've always wanted little brothers. So, and then the things he encouraged me, of course, I went through my teen years. I started getting in trouble. But when I started getting in trouble, he was always there. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but when I got in trouble, he came to jail and got me out. He didn't do it for anybody else. And I think the thing that has stayed with me, the last conversation I had with Elvis, I was telling him about some of the things, and he knew about my addictions back in my teen years. And he said, Rick, you need the Lord in your life. And that didn't surprise me because I was always up with him on Sunday morning watching the Southern gospel shows. And I said, you're right. So we sat and we prayed together. And the last time that I saw him was August 16th, 1977 at about 3 in the morning. And unfortunately, 8 hours later, he passed away. And but I know he loved the Lord, and I'll be seeing him leading the choir in heaven one day. And I want to take whatever opportunity I have to, thank you guys for letting me come in and minister and love on these people and be a part of this community.
Thank you, Rick. And we want to say thank you for being here. And we'll close with that.